Why, hello there, it's John again. What we're going to do now is hook up the wood stove inside the motorhome and put a chimney through the roof. See how that goes. Let's check it out. Now we're just putting the frame together for the wood stove to sit on. Now we've got it covered with some plywood, and that area there could be storage, of course. Now we're ready to put down the tile adhesive here. You spread it out over the whole surface. Now you take this applicator with teeth on it, and then you just run it down there so we get a nice even surface. And you say that looks pretty good. And then once you've done it that way, then you do it this way towards you. And once you've got your tiles laid out on top of the adhesive, you're just going to have to leave them for a couple of hours till it all dries up. And then we can clean the tiles and put the grout in between the tiles themselves. More space than I like to put between tiles, but that's how the measurements worked out. We've got the tiles stuck down and grouted. Now I've got the wood stove sitting on top of it. The next thing to do is to follow this where this chimney's going to go. I've pulled out the cupboard here that used to be here, and I've got this marked. It's in the centre of that square there, so we should be looking alright. Once the hole's marked out for the roof, we use a hole saw, drill it through, cut the top layer of probably aluminum, and then dig out all of this foam. Next thing I'm going to do now is take this piece of flashing here and put it on the inside of the hole to protect it from heat somewhat. For a series of cuts in a straight line, bend them over, put them in here. What this will do is insulate from the stove pipe. There'll be a triple layer of stove pipe coming through here, so we need enough room, but we also need to make sure that this is going to stay nice and cool. So we'll probably put a couple of Tek screws around it, a few Tek screws just to hold it in position. Next thing is to put the stove pipe in and get that ready. Put the actual stove pipe, which is this one, into an adapter which goes through a double walled pipe that goes out through the ceiling along with the original stove pipe. And to hold all this pipe central in this hole here, I'm going to use a hose clamp and two brackets that I made here. So they will just sit on something like this. Actually, it'll be exactly like this. There we go. So that's just going to sit on there, and we shall Tek screw these, tighten the hose clamp up, tighten them up, and then we should be ready to put on the cap, and that will have some kind of, what we will call that, well, heat-proof adhesive, I guess. Also we're going to put that heat caulk around there, because water can get in there, so I want to make a good tight fit on that. Once you've got this centered of the hole there, what I'm going to do is take this hose clamp piece. I want to cut off the extra, just so that if this is traveling, we don't get weird sounds from who we don't know where it's coming from. Alright, next we're going to put this fireproof sealant around here, and we're also going to put it around where this meets the chimney. So this will form a fire barrier between this stove pipe and the outside. But on top of this, I'm going to put some roof sealer too, because you definitely don't want water coming in here. So let's see how this works. see what fits. Yep, that seems to fit alright. Then put some Tex screws around it, make it look good. These little guys here, little Phillips pointies. Once all your Tex screws are in, just to wipe away any excess fireproof cork here, and of course on top of this, once it dries, we're going to put some, roofing material to seal this properly, roof sealer. Next thing to do is to tap all of these little tabs so that they make a nice good connection round here. See that? There you go. That can get pushed in a bit more. There we go. Fuse these edges here. Because a good seal is important on the roof for sure. There we go. Okay, we've got the fireproofing cork around the roof jack where it meets the insulated liner of the chimney here, and all that remains is to do is to put on that. There we go, as seen on TV. Then once it all dries, I am going to come back and put some roof sealer on here. Well, from me, thanks for watching. That's yet another fun project, and we'll see what's happening downstairs. And that's the roof part done. Make sure that you cover all your screws with roof coating. Stop any rust happening and stuff like that. Make sure your edges are all covered, and that's all there is to it. Here are the straps for the wood stove base here, and that'll work quite well. I just painted them, and then I just thought of getting this the rubber from the roof jack and cutting some pieces out here that will fit underneath these little straps here, and that'll make a much better fit rather than going metal to metal and rattling. We've got a little bit of rubber insulation for vibration. Got to think of these things sometimes. This is the reflector that's going to go behind the stovepipe. I'm putting a little seam on each end to give it more rigidity. Then I'll put a couple of brackets here to reach out around the stovepipe, and that part will be done. And at the end of the reflector, you bend the same seam, but then you put lots of little cuts in so you can maintain the curvature of your reflector, otherwise it will not want to curve. And this is the chimney reflector in place here, and it should reflect the heat pretty good away from that wall. As you can see, the roof is insulated up here, from the heat coming out here, but once you get past there, we've just got wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this, which it needs painting of course. I'm going to do that, and then once that paint dries, I'm going to put this in here, which will go on the inside of that. See, and that will seal totally that area and dissipate the heat. Well, and that's the whole object of using this metal. And this is the finished product here. We've got the fire on. I've just put it on there real quick. I've built a heat reflector with the space behind it, so that's just flash and mounted on a piece of plywood. And of course I've got the chimney heat reflector put on there. It's kind of hard to see because it's reflecting a lot. and we've got our heat sink on the top there, so everything's looking pretty good. It all seems to be burning quite well. And also, I have to show you this too. When you're putting a fire on, you have to extend your chimney so you get good draft, and that's what I just did there. And then for travelling, you just take that extension down, put a cap on it, or put the original cap on it. And as they say in Scotland, lang may your lum reek. That means may you always have a fire on. And don't forget guys, if you've got a motorhome and you run a wood stove or whatever, always use a carbon monoxide alarm, just to be on the safe side. I was measuring with a digital thermometer on the backboard on this reflector here. It says 340 degrees, right? Just on that backboard where the laser is. However, you can take your hand and put it on. So what's happening is the laser beam is hitting that, then bouncing back onto the wood stove. So that's good. I was getting a bit concerned about that, going, how hot can that be? So obviously that is not the real temperature there. That's just the reflection from the wood stove. Because if you can put your hand on a 270 degree piece of metal, you'd normally get burned. So that's a good sign. Once more, on top of the wood stove, we've got 433 degrees here. That's probably going to be the main temperature, I think, between 430 and maybe 500. The chimney is 325, 275 going up. Once it hits the insulated pipe, it's only what, 72 degrees. And once you get on the ceiling, it's what, 76 there. Oh, that's not bad. That's okay. Like a hot day, a nice. Well, from me and from the wood stove, we'll see you on the next project, no doubt. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.